Welcome back. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Jikon 250. Today I'm going to show you how we cook cassava ribs. They are so delicious and they are commonly eaten in Liberia, Rwanda, Burundi, and some other countries. So we need the cassava ribs, we need celery, spring onions, green pepper, some garlic, tomatoes, peanut, and palm oil. So if your cassava leaves comes like this, so you have to remove them from the branches, just like how I'm doing it in the video. Just watch carefully and see how I'm doing it. So what we are going to do first, we are going to take our green pepper, our celery, garlic, and spring onions, and then blend them together. Just add a little bit of water in your blender if your blend is not powerful enough. And then next, I've washed the cassava leaves. I'm now going to add them in the blender. So because my blender is not that powerful, so I added a little bit of the onions and the garlic that we have blended before so that the cassava leaves can blend easily. You can also choose to blend your cassava leaves by using water, but that's going to make your cassava leaves have too much water in it. So I suggest you use the things that you have blended before. But if your blender is too powerful, you don't have to add water. So if your blender is not blending like mine, just be opening and use like a wooden spoon to push the cassava leaves down in the blender. But be careful because there is a metal spinning down in the blender, so just be careful. When you're done blending, just put it aside and keep on blending the rest of your cassava leaves. Actually, some people think that cassava leaves are not edible, but they are edible. They are so delicious, so delicious. It doesn't matter which country you come from, just try this recipe. Whenever I cook this food and give it to my friends from other countries, they always like it. I've never seen someone who hate this dish. Just try it. It's easy to cook, but it takes time. So take your time when you're free and make it. It's so delicious. And if you're not in Africa and you think that you can't find the cassava leaves, try to buy online, or maybe you can also try to go to the Asian supermarket. They have the cassava leaves sometimes. So try online or try the Asian supermarket. So I'm now done blending all my cassava leaves. What I'm going to do, I'm going to boil them in the rice cooker. But if you have a pressure cooker, that's going to be very quick. The reason why I'm using the rice cooker is because it's so fast. It cooks it very fast. So if you're using a rice cooker, you don't have to add like baking soda for it to cook quickly. So now you have to keep on shaking it and be scraping the one which is stuck at the pot. Now when there's a little water left in the pot, you have to add hot water, boiling water. So for me, when my cassava leaves are like 80% done, I just remove them from the fire and then I continue cooking the next day. It tastes better that way for me. But if you want to cook it on the very same day and finish the whole process, then go ahead, it's also fine. Now what I'm doing, I'm blending our peanuts. But if your blender is not too powerful, this is the other technique you can use. Just put your peanut in the blender, then add water for the blender to be able to blend it easily. But if you're using this water technique, do not add too much peanut, because if your peanut is left, then it will go to waste, or you can keep in the fridge for just few days. So what I'm doing, I'm now adding the chicken in the cassava leaves. But you don't really have to use chicken. You can use any other protein of your choice. You can use beef, or you can use pork if that's what you prefer. And now as you can see, there was no much water left. I'm adding more water and I'm going to let it cook for like 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, because my chicken is soft, I'm now going to add in some palm oil. But if you're using meat which is like too strong, which is not going to cook faster, then you can cook it aside and then add it in the cassava leaves later. What I'm doing now, I'm adding my chicken seasoning, but you can use Maggi if you have it. Me, I prefer using this because I don't have Maggi. I also added some salt. I'm going to cover it and let it cook until the chicken is soft enough. On the other side, in the pot, I've added cooking oil, and now I added some onions, and now I'm adding some tomatoes. Use enough tomatoes. Me, I've used 2 large tomatoes and they were enough. So I've also added just a little bit of salt in the tomatoes for them to be soft quickly. Now that my tomatoes are soft enough, they are cooked. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm adding in our peanut that we have blended before. I'm going to cook it on medium heat until my peanuts are very well cooked. But in the meantime, I'll be checking and mix to make sure that the peanut doesn't stick at the bottom of the pot. Now my peanuts are done. They keep on splashing everywhere. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my cassava leaves in a bigger pot. When making this dish, make sure that you have a bigger pot available. And I just added half of my peanut to make sure that I don't add too much. After mixing, I found that it was not enough, so I added the rest of my peanuts and tomato sauce. I also went ahead to add a little bit of water because it was too thick. This dish is actually supposed to be thick, but not too thick though. So I added more salt and I also added palm oil because no, this dish needs palm oil. Just make sure to add enough palm oil. The more palm oil, the tastier the dish is going to be, but also you don't have to add too much. So I covered and cooked for like 20 more minutes on medium heat, and my cassava leaves or my sombe is done. So I also added some chili. Oh god, this is so good. And I'm just I'm now dishing it out. Yo, this is so delicious. It doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter where you are. Just try this dish. I recommend it to you. Just try it, and it's cheap. It's just very cheap. As you have seen, it doesn't require too much things. And so you can also eat it with rice, you can eat it with ugali, you can eat it with chapati, just anything you want. It was so delicious. And we also had some meatballs on the side. This was so delicious. Thank you so much.